Emotionally, we found that it's a story that helps them to change their belief.
The Deferred Sales Trust, this is a great solution for someone looking to diversify, someone who's not just looking to buy a bunch more real estate at the same level that they're just sold at. What are some of the challenges? Besides the challenge, what are some of the fears that your clients are facing? Because it sounds like a great idea. Why doesn't everyone do this?
Yeah, the biggest thing is education and their trusted advisors, right? As you know, with anything, once we build wealth, people help us to build that wealth, and we build a trusted relationship with them. Our CPAs, our tax attorneys, our real estate brokers. I started at Marcus and Millichap, and there was about 30 of us in the room listening to the Deferred Sales Trust presentation in 2009, thinking, "Wow, this sounds too good to be true." It seems like we would have heard about it. I mean, we thought we were the Navy SEALs of investment real estate, the best of the best in the country, doing 1031 exchanges all the time. And yet we were learning something new in 2009. Now, what's interesting is only a couple of us out of the whole 30 in that room took action to start to actually learn and start to apply. Because it's one thing to listen to a podcast, go to a conference, take a class, get a degree. But if you're not going to apply the knowledge or the potential of it and really practice what it is, the essence of it, and how it actually can unlock the freedoms, then you're right. Most people, they get stuck in either procrastination or sometimes fear if they don't have enough time. So if you think about it, we just did a deal. We closed a $17 million deal in Sacramento. It was a billboard company slash real estate sale. It's a little bit about business and real estate sale. He had never heard of it, and he was in escrow. He had about 60 days to close. Now, he had a trusted financial advisor who actually introduced him to the Deferred Sales Trust. So there was that bridge of know, like, and trust that had built up. Number two, he had his CPAs that were local that looked at this and reviewed it. He had the M&A attorney actually look at it. But what you realize is that if people haven't heard about it yet, the first thing they want to do is go to someone they can trust to see if they've heard about it. And the challenge becomes, well, is this person likely to say yes? Well, probably not, because if they say yes to something they've never done, they never had a client do, and they didn't introduce to you, then the likelihood of it actually, if it goes well, then I guess they can win. But if it goes south, now all of a sudden they feel like they're responsible. And so this is part of where the Deferred Sales Trust tax attorneys we work with provide lifetime audit defense and have over a 27-year track record and thousands of closes and billions of sales under management over the years. And literally over 20 no change IRS audits. It's actually one of the biggest deals was in Southern California, $125 million deal. And, they have national law firms and CPA firms that have tens of thousands of tax returns. And literally it's batting 1,000 and it's perfect. But people haven't heard of it, partly because their people haven't told them about it. They haven't listened to your podcast yet. And then the second part would be sometimes you can tell people all of the evidence, but emotionally we found that it's a story that helps them to change their belief. And so we actually try to encourage people to talk to our clients, talk to the banks. But actually, there's a story that really captured this well, Alex, and I'll just share it right now. And this is one of the stories that helps me to give even more confidence and conviction in the legality and the track record of the Deferred Sales Trust. And the person I'll bring into the story is a gentleman named David Young. In fact, he's out of the Los Angeles area now. He worked with a gentleman named Bill Gross. And for people who are in real estate, we may not know who those people are. But they are some of the best in the world at what they do. Bill Gross and David Young and about 5 others built a company called PIMCO about 20 years ago. And PIMCO is one of the largest kind of wealth financial bond and investments in the world. I mean, they're huge, okay? And they helped bring it from 80 billion to 1.2 trillion. They exploded it and they all did a great job and they got a big payday. They all kind of retired. And as you can imagine, these guys get approached with a lot of people telling them that they've got this tax deferral thing or they've got this strategy that they should introduce to their clients and they should become a part of. And the way that David puts it is, most of these things just aren't worth the trouble. They don't pass the smell test. There are all these things that are either offshore or haven't faced the IRS or haven't been around long enough. And they're too complicated and too many moving things. And so, but he goes, Brett, him and about 4 other guys about 5 years ago, they started their due diligence process and they did a 2-year due diligence and they had their legal team and they did their team and they reviewed it. They talked to clients and banks and the investments and the strategy and they really looked at it in detail for 2 years. And if you can imagine, if you're best in the world, you might have some people to call on to figure out something is real and It works. And after that 2-year due diligence, they came back with 2 conclusions. Number one, the person who created, who's one of my business partners, maybe the smartest person we've ever met. He's the tax attorney. Number two, he's also a CPA, by the way. Number two, we're all in. We'll become a part of the inner circle, and we'll help to be for the financial advising aspect, manage capital for investors that choose to use us. And so the question for everyone listening, and for you and me and Alex, is if it's good enough for David Young after 2 years of due diligence, is it good enough for your CPA, your tax attorney, your financial advisor, your whoever who's saying no? And every single deal we do, this always comes up. And most of the time when we actually introduce people to David, watch the videos, look at the evidence, they're like, wow, if he can say yes, then it is probably that good. And I'm gonna go ahead and take a leap of maybe faith for them because it's new, but they end up having all the transformation that it unlocks.